That looks pretty good. Oh yeah. Should we cut it open?
Oaky on the nose.
Oh my word.
Taste the whiskey as well. Oh my god. Wow. I didn't expect it to be that nice.
Oh my god. Whiskey in the burger, whiskey in the sauce, whiskey in the bread, whiskey in my head.
So let's rewind and show you how we created this giant whiskey burger.
Amazing.
Kind of like an old fashioned. This is going to be a beast.
Wow.
What you been eating? What were you eating? So here's what we're gonna cook. We are gonna make a giant whiskey burger. Now we wanted to make the world's biggest whiskey burger, but then we thought to ourselves, can people just replicate that at home quite easily? And then the answer would be obviously no. So we said, well, why don't we make something where you can just go to the grocery store and buy the ingredients that we bought and make a giant whiskey burger, something that's going to be awesome, next level, and that's what we're gonna make.
Oh my god. Amazing.
So what we're gonna make now is we're gonna make my my special spice blend. I've been perfecting this spice blend with my dad for a good 10 years now. And my dad owns his own, or did before he passed away, he owned his own seasoning company, his own blending company, spice business. And this is one of the spices he used to sell. So me and him perfected it, we made it together, and then he used to sell it, and it was called magic dust because this stuff can be put on anything and it makes it magic. It's amazing. So I'm gonna give you the recipe real quick.
I'm pretty sure there's something out there that already does that. It's called MSG, right?
There's no MSG in this, but you can add it if you want. So it's real simple. It's just table salt. You're basically doing equal parts table salt to equal parts garlic granules. They're your two main bases.
Garlic. Who doesn't love a bit of garlic?
Everybody loves a bit of
I
garlic.
don't know if you guys know, but Jay actually came 4th in a barbecue competition. So he's actually, you know, he knows what he's doing.
4th.
Yeah, 4th.
I came first place.
First place, ticket number 819. Trophied up. Gonna have to build a new cabinet.
He came first place.
So you're doing equal parts salt to equal parts garlic powder, and then half of that amount in black pepper. And then quarter that amount of the black pepper in cayenne pepper. And that's her, done. Mix it together.
Delicious.
So that's our own seasoning, little whiskey, why not?
If you like whiskey and you like summer, then whiskey soda's for you.
We went to the butcher's today. We got 230 pounds worth of meat. So we got our brisket minced down like we wanted it. We've got the chuck, which is from the shoulder. The brisket's just underneath. It's gonna make this big, massive whiskey burger. I think brisket's a really, really good cut of the animal, right up near the shoulder, near the chuck, but just below it. But on the brisket, you've got the flat, and then you've got the point that sits on top of it. Now the point carries more fat and carries more marbling. You don't have to get it done this way. This is just what I asked. You can just use mince, it's fine, and I'll show you some little tricks that you can use to make the mince better. So I'm gonna go with this brisket.
So what do you think it is about the brisket that's going to complement the other meats that you've got?
Well, the chuck is the shoulder. So chuck and brisket are two really, really great cuts of the beef for burgers. And the reason why is the texture, because they are more red, so they're carrying that bit more blood. They're much more beefy in flavor. So that's what brisket just carries that much more. Because it is up the front, it's a working muscle, but it just carries more of the beef flavor. But what we're also gonna add in here is something ridiculously high in fat content, which is a Wagyu burger. Now we've made these, we're just gonna be putting them in and mixing it all through. So we got some Wagyu patties. I'd love to just cook one of these on their own. They would be sensational. We can't do that because we're making this big giant burger, so let's take some of this out for a sec, make sure that Wagyu
And
really
guys
gets
at home,
in.
if you can't source any Wagyu for yourself, just be creative. Try and get some brisket. That's definitely attainable for most households.
So yeah, so I've got two chucks, 3 Wagyus of burgers, and then a bunch of brisket. And I'm gonna bring all this together and we're gonna put in a little bit of, actually I'll get you to do that because my hands have now gone into the meat. Can you just grab that Lagavulin?
A little bit of the Lagavulin 16.
Yep.
Yes.
So I'm using a peaty scotch just because we're gonna smoke this burger. We've got some whiskey smoking chips as well. We're gonna be doing it on the barbecue. And this is a whiskey burger, so we're gonna put in some smoky whiskey.
Do our favorite pop. Say when.
Go for it.
Glug, glug, glug.
Cool.
Ooh.
burger needs to be juicy. The juiciness and the flavor comes from the fat, also from the meat, but you need some of the fat in there. So what you can do is a little bit of a life hack, but a hack is probably not good for your life, but it's a good hack, is to get some more flavor and some more fat through there, is take a block of butter. Albert took us that one. I'm using an Irish butter here, so there's back fat in there, there's the brisket fat, which is all that real good marbling that's on that. It's going to be very, very juicy and delicious. So what we're gonna do is just put some butter in here. You're just gonna grate it in like you would cheese. Now ideally, it's not like this because it's supposed to be frozen and it would have come across, but what happened was we left it out and then we stuck it in the freezer and thought that it would work, and that hasn't worked. So we're just gonna have to...
British summer.
That's not the way you want it to be. But ideally, yeah, it's a frozen block of butter that you use, and then when you grate it, it'll all separate and it will go through properly. But you can work it with your hands either way. All right, we're gonna do some indirect cooking, so I'm gonna probably put this in, get the burger on. So this is her. So I'm using this tin here. I've oiled the surface of this just so the meat doesn't stick, and then we're going to generously tip in some meat.
So what would you say, Jay, what's your favourite cut of the cow?
Favourite cut of a cow?
Any cow.
I love doing a nice slow and low brisket, taking a good, 12 to 18 hours depending on the brisket. I think it makes a lot of sense. So, and it tastes amazing when you put that level of effort in. Cook a big 6-7 kilo brisket. Now there's a lot of seasoning going on this, but there's also a lot of meat, so it can take a lot of seasoning.
Yeah, that looks good.
Thanks, Sal.
Very good.
Do you approve?
Yeah.
Good. There's definitely enough fat in there anyway between the different cuts of meat that we have on it. Are we going to poke some holes in it and do what the Pit Boys did and put some whiskey on top of some sugar? I guess we're going to have to, The Pit Boys did a really good job of theirs. We put some other different techniques in, but why not? So what we're doing here, guys, is we're putting holes in this, but we're not going all the way down because obviously we don't want it to come out the bottom. What we're going to do is we're going to use a bit of Bullet Rye. Just put a little bit on this. Let that seep down into the holes. And put some sugar over the top of it, kind of like an old-fashioned. Now, we're using Demerara sugar, and the reason for that is I like Demerara sugar with my old-fashioned. And given that we're using a bourbon, well, a Bullet, we're using a rye, but we're using an American whiskey, and we're using Demerara sugar, it's like you're putting an old-fashioned on top of your burger. Obviously, then you got the richness of the meat and the beef and the different types of cuts that are in there, the butter that we put in there, then obviously the seasoning, the magic dust salt blend that we put in. She's ready. Let's get her on the Barbie. All right. You ready, Sauls?
Yeah, boy. Whiskey smoking sticks?
Sure. All right, so quick tip for any of you that are using these little kettles. Most kettle barbecues, this is a cheap one, but most of them, they obviously have this vent hole here. If you're indirect cooking and your smoke is here, what you want your smoke to do is come up and come across the meat and then come out. So what you want to do is when you put the lid on, you want kettle lid here. So the smoke can come up and then come out the lid here, so it just kisses right across the meat and get all the flavor into it. Cool, so that's gonna smoke for quite a while. It's indirect cooking, so it's a big, big, big piece of meat. That's gonna be on there for a good hour.
Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Jesus Christ.
So I'm just getting some onions on. So we're just gonna give them a little touch of olive oil, smoked olive oil. Season them up. And then when these come off, they're gonna go onto the burger with the tomato. So you can imagine there's a lot of smokiness going on here. There's obviously everything in the grill at the moment is smoked in general. We got this lovely garlicky, salty and cayenne pepper with black pepper seasoning. So let's just throw these on. So what we're gonna do now is we're gonna make the topping for what's gonna go on the burger. So we got a lot of crunchy smoked bacon. So this bacon has been smoking for a good half an hour on the grill. We're gonna mix it in with a bit of Cashel Blue, which is an Irish blue cheese. And also a bit of Saint, is it Auger? How do you pronounce it? Saint Agur. Excuse my French, legitimately. So a bit of French, bit of Irish. And this is what's going to go and give some nice salty finish to the top of the burger. So let's go put that on now. All right.
So is the burger going into the bread like that?
Yeah, burger's gonna sit right on that bad boy.
Amazing. Oh my God, what the
The cameraman, look, the man who should be keeping the camera on him.
Exactly what are you doing?
I am just melting some butter.
I don't know what this means, but when I was growing up, people used to say to me, butter wouldn't melt in your mouth. What does that mean?
That means that butter would...
I got a cold mouth.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't get it.
There's seasoning in it.
Garlic?
Yep, garlic, magic dust. We've been using it all the way through. Why would we stop now?
I'm a garlic guy. Love garlic.
Now. Nearly done. This is gonna be a beast. I'm gonna take the burger off now. Oh, look at that. Oh my God, that's heavy. Woo! So, here's what we're gonna use. We're actually gonna use pepper sauce, this creamy pepper sauce that we made on this burger. This is the pepper sauce that I've been making for quite a while. Basically, you're putting double cream. You're waiting for this double cream to reduce down. Double cream will reduce quicker on a wider surface. So if you put it on a pan, it will go quicker. And peppercorns, that's really what it is, and whiskey. This is just seasoning. I put a little bit of white pepper in there to kick up the normal peppercorns, a bit of salt and a bit of sugar from balance, but it's really just double cream and a great quality bourbon or rye. I'm using a Bullet Rye, which I like quite a lot. We're going to use on the base. Oh, this is probably going to be the best burger I've ever eaten in my life. Now, first things first, I think we will go with the burger. I think the burger has to go on first, doesn't it? Yeah, I think she deserves it. That's about 2 kilos. Alright, so we got onions.
My God.
Put ladles and ladles of pepper sauce on this massive burger. Alrighty.
What?
Should we cut it open?
Yes.
Yeah. Holy sh**.
That sauce is disgusting. Really good.
That's the best I've ever tried.
Wow. Oaking on the nose.
Oh my word. I'm gonna have to cut this one for the rest of you. Here, try it out.
Oh my God.
It was lovely.
You can taste the whiskey as well. Oh my God. Wow. I didn't expect it to be that nice.
Oh my God. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 people.
If you like the video, guys, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe.